Namaskar. Welcome to this series of snippets on Sri Aurobindo's epic poem Savitri, a legend and a symbol. We are aware that Savitri is an epic, the longest epic ever written in English, a complete epic, and it has been celebrated a lot by those who read Sri Aurobindo. But most interestingly, the mother calls it the super epic, the hyper epic, and she praises it with all the superlatives, super literature, she says. It is an epic we all know. It fulfills all the criteria of a normal, general English or European classical epic. But what is it that makes it super epic? There is something we need to think about. These are questions we need to ask, questions we need to find answers for. And Sri Aurobindo himself comes to our rescue. He writes about it in his future poetry, when he traces the evolution of poetry and he outlines as to what poetry or what epic has been all through and what it would be in future. And I read, the epic is only the narrative presentation on its largest canvas and at its highest elevation, greatness and amplitude of spirit and speech and movement. It is sometimes asserted that the epic is solely proper to primitive ages. Now this is one argument that Sri Aurobindo is taking forward, that it was appropriate, epic as a genre of poetry was appropriate to have been written in the ancient times, when the lives of people were simple, when the emotions were simple, when the complications of life were much lesser as compared to what we have today. Because of the technological advancements, because of the communication possibilities, there are more miscommunications, there are more misunderstandings. So why is it that perhaps people thought that epic belongs to the ancient era? But Sri Aurobindo refutes this. He says no. This genre can never become old. It will change its mode, it will change its way of expression, but it need not be considered as an old form of poetry. So then, we have seen that a regular epic, a traditional epic, is a narrative presentation. It is on a large canvas. It is written of the highest elevation, greatness and amplitude of a culture and a civilization of people. So all this we have in Savitri. It is on a large canvas. It is almost written on a cosmic canvas. It has the highest elevation because it has been written by by the poet who is himself elevating in consciousness while he is writing Savitri, and Savitri in turn helps us rise in consciousness. It has greatness and amplitude of spirit. We do see that in Savitri, and speech and movement, of course. It is mantric poetry. However, having said that, it doesn't qualify Savitri only as a super epic necessarily. Then what is it? Sri Aurobindo says, we need to remember, before I quote him further, that the future poetry was written and finished between 1917 and 1921, and there were hardly any revisions later on that Sri Aurobindo made into it. So what he wrote was a prevision. What he wrote was given many years before, almost 30 years before he wrote his legendary work Savitri. So he had laid down the guidelines of a future poetry, of a future epic poetry, and then he in fact fulfills, he exemplifies it for us. And so he writes, the epics of the soul, most inwardly seen as they will be by an intuitive poetry, are his greatest possible subject. Sri Aurobindo writes this as against the epic topics that we have had, the epic scales, the epic scope that we have had in the past, which are usually war, which are usually external action, be it Ramayana, be it Mahabharata, be it Iliad, Odyssey, or any other epic. We see all the actions taking place on we are told about the outer circumstances. Whereas Sri Aurobindo says now that those kind of battles do not take place, now that we do not see those kind of battlefields, doesn't mean that we have run out of subjects for epic. So what would be the epics in future? Like the epics of the soul, most inwardly seen, written by as an intuitive poetry. So it is not a mentalized, it is not an emotive poetry, it is an intuitive poetry. Are his greatest possible subject, and it is this supreme kind that we shall expect from some profound and mighty voice of the future. Now it is very interesting that Sri Aurobindo wrote that poetry would be written by some mighty and profound voice, and we know that Sri Aurobindo wrote and finished writing Savitri in 1950, and we are of course aware of the stature of Sri Aurobindo, the Maharishi, the yogi who wrote this. So we have here, he himself fulfills his prophecy when he says that the epic in the future will be written by a mighty voice. His indeed may be the song of greatest flight that will reveal from the highest pinnacle and with the largest field of vision the destiny of human spirit. So we see the subject matter of the future epic that Sri Aurobindo lays down, that the person who will write it from the highest pinnacle of his consciousness and the largest field of vision. What will he write about? About the destiny of human spirit and the presence and ways and purpose of divinity in man and the universe. So very obvious that Sri Aurobindo has written that what an epic would reveal to us is the purpose of why divine has come on earth, the purpose of how divine has grown on earth, how and why he has manifested. So his subject would be the soul's journey. His subject would be revealing what the divine has come down on earth and in man for. What is the man's evolution? What is the journey of man's evolution? And this is exactly what we find in his own work, Savitri. Savitri indeed fulfills all these promises. Savitri does tell us that it has been written from the highest pinnacle of Sri Aurobindo's own consciousness. As Sri Aurobindo marks in one of his letters, that as it stands today, it has a general overmind influence. Then, it has the largest field of vision. If we see the canvas of Savitri, it is vast, it is extremely widespread. It starts from the nether regions and it goes to the superconscious, to the Satchidananda. It goes from all the ranges, it covers all the ranges of human consciousness, and human and beyond human consciousness. It doesn't restrict itself to human beings. It goes through a range of inner experiences. So what Sri Aurobindo says is that a future epic would be an inner epic, will be a soul's epic, and Savitri is an epitome of being that inner epic, of that inner journey. And it shows to us the purpose of divinity in man and universe. We see in Savitri, we see the unfolding, we see the evolution of consciousness, we see the involution of consciousness in Savitri all through. Sri Aurobindo, through his Yoga Tapasya, has found out how the universe has manifested, and that is how he has brought it in Savitri. He has written it down for us in Savitri, and he reveals to us the purpose of divinity in man and universe. It does become an interesting study and a reading as to how Sri Aurobindo himself has given a theory, has given an outline, not a theory, but an outline, a prophecy of what a future poetry would be or should be, and he has himself fulfilled that through Savitri. Perhaps it was not a deliberate attempt, indeed it was not a deliberate attempt to exemplify what he has prophesied, but nevertheless, because he had envisioned something way back in 1917 to 1921, the vision does not change. It has only enlarged and got accomplished in his own magnum opus, Savitri, a legend and a symbol. Thank you.